There's a moment in every person's life when they realize the words they speak aren't just sounds, they are signals to their brain, commands to their emotions, and vibrations that shape their destiny. I remember the first time I truly understood that. I was in a small apartment, broke, frustrated, wondering why everything felt heavy. I kept saying to myself, I'm stuck. I'm lost. I can't do this. And guess what? My brain believed every word. Because the words we use become the walls of the life we build. If you keep describing your life as hard, it will stay hard. If you keep saying you're tired, your body will find new ways to feel exhausted. But the moment you shift your language, not with fake positivity, but with empowered meaning, everything begins to change. That's when I started saying, I'm becoming stronger. I'm learning. I'm building momentum. And those words didn't just change my mood, they changed my life. Words are like seeds. Whatever you plant in the soil of your mind will grow. Say something often enough, and it becomes your truth. People underestimate the power of habitual language. They call themselves depressed, broke, or alone, and wonder why their reality never shifts. You see, your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a truth and a lie, it just follows the instruction you give it repeatedly. If you tell yourself, I'm overwhelmed, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel overwhelmed. But if you say, I'm challenged, but I can handle this, suddenly your body finds energy. It's like flipping a switch in your internal code. The vocabulary of your life is the vocabulary of your emotions. If you want to change your experience, start by changing your words. You can't live a positive life with a negative vocabulary. I've coached people who had everything: money, fame, influence, yet they felt empty because the story in their head was poisoned by language. One woman I met used to say, I'm destroyed. I asked her, what would happen if you changed that to I'm challenged, but I'll rise? She hesitated, then whispered the new phrase. Within minutes, her shoulders relaxed, her breathing shifted, and tears rolled down her face. That's the miracle of language. You don't need a new life, you need a new set of words to describe the life you already have. When you upgrade your language, you upgrade your emotions, and when you upgrade your emotions, your entire reality follows. Because emotion is the fuel of human action, and words are the match that ignite it. Every word carries energy. When you speak with certainty, you program your subconscious to believe in possibilities instead of limits. Think of your brain as a software system. Whatever language you use is the code that runs your behavior. If you keep typing failure into your system, don't be surprised if your results keep crashing. But when you write growth, strength, resilience, your mind starts building new connections. It's neuroplasticity in motion. Your brain physically rewires itself based on what you consistently say. That's why I tell people, your vocabulary is your emotional home. Change your words, and you'll find yourself living in a different world without even moving an inch. You've got to understand, words are not just descriptions, they're creations. You're creating your emotional reality every time you speak. When you say, I'm angry, your whole physiology changes, your jaw tightens, your heart rate increases. But if instead, you say, I'm a little frustrated, but I can shift this, the storm begins to calm. The words you use can turn pain into purpose or purpose into paralysis. They can make you the victim or the creator of your life story. That's why you must choose carefully, because your future listens to the words you're using today. There's a reason ancient traditions, religions, and philosophies all talk about the power of the word. From let there be light to the mantras chanted for peace, the spoken word has always been a source of creation. Even science now shows that sound frequencies can shape matter. So, when you speak harsh words to yourself, you are literally rearranging your emotional chemistry in a negative way. But when you use empowering words, I can, I will, I must, you're programming your cells with energy and direction. You become unstoppable not because life got easier, but because your inner dialogue got stronger. One of my favorite exercises is to take disempowering words and replace them with empowering ones. For example, instead of saying, I'm furious, say, I'm a little peeved. Instead of, I'm devastated, say, I'm disappointed. It sounds small, but it changes everything. When you lower the emotional intensity of your language, you gain control. And when you increase the intensity of empowering words like I'm committed, I'm passionate, I'm grateful, you elevate your emotional state instantly. Language becomes your steering wheel, guiding you toward mastery rather than misery. I once met a man who told me he'd been destroyed by failure. I looked at him and said, "No, you were redirected." He laughed, but then he paused, and that pause was everything. It was the moment he realized he could rewrite his story. Because every word you choose builds or breaks your identity. Say I'm broken, and you'll behave like someone who needs fixing. Say I'm rebuilding, and you'll act like someone who's growing stronger. The shift begins not with what you do, but with what you declare. Your mouth is the architect of your destiny. When people say, I can't, what they really mean is, I won't. The words we hide behind become the prison we live in. But the moment you replace I can't with I must, your mind finds solutions that were invisible before. It's the difference between wanting and committing. The power of words lies in their emotional intensity. Should is weak, must is unstoppable. You don't should your way to greatness, you must your way there. Because language defines commitment, and commitment defines results. Think about this, every culture has phrases that shape its people's psychology. The Japanese use ganbat, meaning do your best. The Italians say andiamo. Let's go. In every language, motivation lives in the words. If you repeat defeat long enough, you become it. But if you surround yourself with words of power, words like rise, grow, love, impact, your world expands. That's why I tell people, clean your vocabulary the same way you clean your home. Throw out the words that poison your potential and decorate your mind with the language of strength. If you truly want to change your life, start catching the words that slip out of your mouth. You'll be shocked how often you predict your pain with your own tongue. I always get sick. I can't handle this. Nothing ever works. These aren't statements, they're spells. You are casting your reality, one sentence at a time. So, shift from I'm tired to I'm recharging. From I'm lost to I'm exploring. The change might seem small, but the effect is massive. Because words are the roots of your beliefs, and beliefs are the blueprint of your destiny. In my seminars, I've seen people go from tears to laughter just by changing 3 words. That's not magic, that's psychology. When you shift the language that labels your experience, you shift your experience itself. Words are emotional filters, they color how we perceive everything. Say, I'm terrified before a speech, and your body trembles. Say, I'm excited, and that same energy becomes power. The energy is the same, only the label changed. So imagine if you mastered that art daily, what would your life feel like then? Sometimes, people ask me, Tony, what if I don't believe the new words yet? My answer is simple, repetition creates belief. You didn't learn to walk in one day, you won't learn a new identity in one sentence. But say it again and again until your nervous system accepts it as truth. When I was young, I used to say, I'm unstoppable, long before I felt that way. But over time, those words sculpted my reality. Because faith isn't something you find, it's something you build, word by word, day by day. Your life today is a reflection of the words you spoke yesterday. And your life tomorrow will echo the words you speak today. So choose carefully. Don't speak limitation into your future. Don't let careless language dictate your potential. Talk to yourself like someone you love. Speak strength into your fears, compassion into your pain, and vision into your uncertainty. The language of champions isn't maybe or someday. It's now. It's I will. It's I am. When you master your words, you master your emotions. And when you master your emotions, you master your life. Every transformation I've ever witnessed began with a shift in vocabulary. The man who said, I'm depressed, learned to say, I'm feeling a little low, but I'll find my energy. The woman who said, I'm worthless, changed it to I'm growing. And with that, their world began to move. You don't need permission to change, you just need a new phrase that sets you free. So today, decide. Speak with intention. Build your world with words of power. Because one day, you'll look back and realize your language was the bridge between who you were and who you became. Every I can, every I will, Every I must was a brick on that bridge. You've always had that power. You've always been the author of your reality. So from this moment forward, choose words that elevate, words that empower, words that create. Because the story of your life is being written one sentence at a time.